Germany entered World War I later than its enemies in tank development, but when it committed to armored warfare, it pursued heavily armored, firepower-focused designs intended to break trench stalemates. In this video, we'll cover every German tank developed during the First World War, explaining why each machine was built, what it did well, and where it fell short on the battlefield. So let's begin. A7V Sturmpanzerwagen. The A7V was Germany's first and only tank to see combat during World War I, developed in response to British tanks appearing on the Western Front. It was armed with a powerful 57mm cannon supported by multiple machine guns, protected by thick armor, and operated by a massive crew of up to 18 men. Its heavy firepower made it formidable in direct engagements and effective at suppressing enemy infantry. However, its extreme weight, poor cross-country mobility, and high center of gravity made it unreliable in rough terrain, often becoming stuck or mechanically disabled. A7VU Umlaufende Ketten. The A7VU was an experimental redesign of the standard A7V, created to improve trench crossing capability by extending the tracks around the hull. It featured similar armament to the original A7V, including a main cannon and machine guns, while incorporating a lower silhouette and improved weight distribution. This design offered better obstacle traversal and improved battlefield stability. Despite these advantages, the A7VU proved too heavy and mechanically complex, leading to the project being abandoned before combat use. K-Wagen, Großkampfwagen. The K-Wagen was Germany's ambitious attempt to create a super-heavy breakthrough tank capable of smashing fortified enemy positions. Armed with multiple cannons and machine guns and protected by extremely thick armor, it was designed to function as a mobile fortress. Its massive size and overwhelming firepower promised dominance in frontal assaults. However, the vehicle's enormous weight, logistical impracticality, and the war's end prevented it from ever being completed or deployed. Leichter Kampfwagen 1. The Leichter Kampfwagen 1 was developed as a light tank to counter Allied designs like the British Whippet and French Renault FT. It featured light armor, machine gun armament, and a compact profile intended for mobility and reconnaissance roles. Its smaller size made it easier to transport and maneuver compared to heavier German designs. Nonetheless, the tank remained underpowered and under-armored, and it never progressed beyond prototype testing. Leichter Kampfwagen 2. The Leichter Kampfwagen 2 was an improved continuation of Germany's light tank program, aiming to refine mobility and crew efficiency. It featured better suspension and incremental armor improvements while maintaining light machine gun armament. These enhancements promised improved reliability and battlefield flexibility. Despite these refinements, the vehicle still lagged behind Allied light tanks and was never fielded due to shifting priorities and production constraints. Leichter Kampfwagen 3. The Leichter Kampfwagen 3 represented a further evolution of Germany's light tank concept, focusing on better balance between mobility and protection. It was designed with improved layout efficiency and enhanced mechanical systems compared to earlier versions. The design showed potential as a fast support vehicle for infantry operations. However, it remained a paper or prototype project and never reached mass production or operational service. Sturmpanzerwagen Oberschlesien. The Oberschlesien was a late-war German tank concept intended to correct the shortcomings of the A7V. It featured a more modern layout with a rotating turret, improved armor shaping, and better weight distribution. This design promised significantly better battlefield performance and crew efficiency. Unfortunately, the Oberschlesien was never built, as Germany's industrial collapse and the end of the war halted all development. Orionwagen 2. The Orionwagen 2 was an experimental heavy tank design focused on increased firepower and survivability. Armed with multiple weapons and reinforced armor, it was intended to challenge Allied heavy tanks head-on. Its theoretical strength lay in its balanced approach to protection and offensive capability. However, like many German projects, it suffered from excessive complexity and never advanced beyond the conceptual stage. Orionwagen 3. The Orionwagen 3 expanded on earlier Orion concepts, emphasizing even heavier armor and battlefield dominance. Designed as a heavily protected assault vehicle, it aimed to overwhelm enemy defenses through brute force. While impressive on paper, Its extreme weight and mechanical demands made it impractical, resulting in the project being cancelled before construction. Landpanzerkreuzer. The Landpanzerkreuzer was one of Germany's most extreme super-heavy tank concepts, envisioned as a land battleship capable of mounting naval-grade weapons. Its immense size and firepower were intended to crush enemy positions and dominate the battlefield psychologically. However, the vehicle was entirely impractical, requiring massive resources and infrastructure that wartime Germany simply did not possess, leaving it as a theoretical design only. Germany's tanks in World War I reflected a nation racing to catch up in armored warfare, producing powerful but often impractical designs. While only the A7V saw combat, the ambitious concepts that followed would influence future armored doctrine. These early experiments laid the groundwork for the armored strategies Germany would later perfect in the next global conflict.